Alright, what's going on, you guys? Your good old boy, yeah, right. And today, I'm going to be doing a review for Fear the Walking Dead, a sort of a knockoff series of The Walking Dead that came out still by Robert Kirkman and the makers of The Walking Dead, but it came out, it was sort of like a sideshow, and I just watched it, literally just watched it. I'm gonna give my opinions. If you haven't seen it, if you're gonna watch it, this is a spoiler alert. I'm gonna tell you basically sum up what happened in the episode. And I know a lot of people in the UK have been saying on Instagram they can't see it. So if you're in the UK, you want to hear what happened, stay tuned. First, I'm gonna give my review, and I'm gonna say what I thought about it, and then I'll tell you what happened. So, in my opinion, I just think, well, the acting wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. It was really bad in the beginning, but it got better as the episode went on. But I'm gonna sort of let that slide because it's the first episode, it's the first season. I remember watching the first season of The Walking Dead, and I was thinking that was really bad. So I'm gonna let it slide. I'm just gonna, keep my mind open. And so the episode itself, I was kind of bored. But like I said, it's the first episode. You gotta see what's going on. You gotta know the characters. So I'm gonna let it slide. But there wasn't many like zombie kills or anything crazy like that. There was maybe like two or three. There was two or three like zombies, but that's okay because it's season one. It's episode one. I'll give it the benefit. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Sorry. Um, and so basically, what happens is there's this guy. You see the main family, the main characters, which is basically like the Grimes family of The Walking Dead in this aspect. Um, you see the main family, the main characters, and it consists of a mom, a father, a daughter, which I forget her name. I don't remember. And then the son, Nick. Nick is the guy that they paid like the most attention to in this episode. So from the feel that I'm getting, I think he's gonna be the main character. So basically, Nick. Let me just paint out. This is the common middle class family living in California, and Nick is your average 18-year-old loser living at home. Nick does heroin. I think that's what he said. He does some sort of drug. I'm pretty sure they said heroin. And so it starts off with Nick wakes up in like basically a drug house, um, and he's like calling for his friend named Gloria. And then he goes downstairs and he sees all this blood. He starts freaking out, and then he sees Gloria, his friend, over there eating somebody, and he takes off running. And when he takes off running, he runs into traffic and gets hit by a car. Of course, it's the very beginning, so nobody. I mean, it's still normal. The world was still normal. And so he gets hit by a car, and he goes to the hospital. And in the hospital, he's saying, I saw dead things and stuff. And they were saying, okay, this is some heroin addict. He was high, he was having hallucinations, and then it starts talking about like uh, outbreaks and flus and stuff. And then Nick, he so, okay, so he goes nuts and he's telling all these stories and they think that he's crazy. And so his dad goes over to the drug house he was at and sees all these zombies and all these dead people and he believes him. And at the hospital when that's going on, Nick asks one of the nurses, like he's going to the bathroom, at the hospital they give you like a like little portable toilet. Imagine what toddlers use when they're getting potty trained. They give you that at the hospital. So they were giving him that, and he was going to the bathroom when he said, "Hey, can you uh uncuff one of my hands?" Because they had him tied to the beds because they thought he was nuts. And she did it so he could go to the bathroom. And she said, "I'll be back in a minute." And she walks out, and he basically breaks all his hands free, and he like I don't know he moved or something, and he bumped the bed next to him, and it like pulled an IV out. Something happened, and it was like killing an old man, and he just freaked out. It was like a hit and run sort of thing. He put on his clothes, he got all his stuff, and he left the hospital. And doctors didn't really do anything about it. They were like, okay, he's 18, it's all right. So they go in there, they wash. They go in there, they rush, and they start taking care of the doctor. And he gets out, and he meets up with his sister's boyfriend, and no, I wasn't paying too close attention at this time. I don't know what happened, but somehow his sister's boyfriend and him got into a fight, which you can see they were friends, but something happened when they got out of the car. They got into a fight, and Nick started it. Nick hopped onto her sister's boyfriend, who I think was named Calvin. That's not important. And Nick kills him. He shoots him in like this area. So he shoots Calvin. Calvin's dead. And then he comes back with his mom and dad, and they're like, "Okay, well, where's Calvin?" He's like, "He was right here. He was right here." And they thought he was hallucinating. And then so they're driving away, and they're like in a tunnel, and they see Calvin, and they get out. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you're bloody," 'cause he was a zombie, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're bloody," and stuff. And Nick was sitting there screaming, "Stop! He'll kill you!" And they whatever, Nick. They thought Nick was the nutcase, and the mom gets bit in the hand. So I mean, they don't know this yet, but she's gonna turn into a zombie, of course. The mom gets bit in the hand, and then Nick drives into Calvin, the zombie, and he drives, and then he stops, and then physics. He stops, and he slams on the brake, and the zombie's on top of the hood. He goes flying, and basically doesn't kill him, but paralyzes him or whatever. And so that happens, and then that's sort of how the episode ends. So, yeah, that's what happened. I'm sorry if that was confusing. I'm sorry if the camera was shaking. I'm sort of all over the place after watching this. Um, and all I can really say is Nick, I'm not getting any good vibes from him. The show in general, it's the first season. Like I said, I'll give it some slack. It's the first episode. I'll give it some slack. But I want to see a lot more zombie kills. I want to see a lot more intense stuff. I don't want to just hear about people's daily lives. If I want that, I could watch The Big Bang Theory or something like that. I want to see zombies. I want to see guns. I want to see, which they had that. I mean, they had leaked footage of the police taking care of a zombie and the zombie eating the police, and then they shot a guy. And I mean, I just want to see more intense stuff. And yeah, I'll give it slack. It was the first episode, whatever. But that's that. My vibes when it comes to characters, I don't really like any of them. They all look like tool bags. Nick in general, excuse me, Nick. I really don't like Nick. He just looked like that punk 18-year-old, and I don't know what his deal was. I don't know why he shot Calvin, but honestly, if I could compare him to any character in the Walking Dead series, I'd compare it to Shane. He looked like Shane. He looked like a sketchy guy who just does whatever he wants, kills whoever, and he just does not look like a good dude. So, I mean, it was showing like the outbreak and stuff. It was showing people at school evacuating and going home and stuff. And that really gets you thinking, like, who's going to be ready when, you know, the zombie apocalypse happens? But I know I will be. That's a cheesy way to end the episode. See y'all.